This is Dolany TV, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another evening edition here on the channel. As we get set for the Vegas Golden Knights this evening, I thought there's two ways I could look about this, right? I could look at the situation in terms of, you know what, we could talk about Mike Smith, yeah, sure, but then you realize what Connor McDavid did last night. And I think in the stream last night I mentioned I was going to look at Mike Smith today. But simply put, then McDavid puts up another 3-point night, his second in a row after returning from injury. And all of a sudden you had two line mates for him. Both put up a goal and an assist that weren't on this team before, well, yesterday. Realistically, right? They were traded the day before. But before that, they weren't on that team. And, well, look at the difference a couple of nights makes in terms of the Oilers' top line getting the job done and getting out there and scoring a bunch of goals, right? Realistically, 2 goals out of the top line. McDavid gets an assist on the power play, and everything is as it should be. That said, ladies and gentlemen, this Edmonton Oilers team is preparing for the stretch drive as they go towards playoffs right now. If the math is correct, 74 points on the year, or do I got 72? I think 72. Hold on. You get lost sometimes at this stage of the year. 19 games, we need 20 points for that magical 94 spot. People are now starting to say, actually, you know what, you can probably sneak in with 92, right? At the start of the year, everybody said 96. Do you see how the math is changing by about 2 wins bare minimum at this point of the season because of how the West is starting to seize up? So you talk about that, right? You need, in 19 games, you need to win 10. That's the weird part about this Oilers team going out there and losing in overtime. Technically speaking, we needed to win 11, but now we've done enough to get that 94th point. Yes, 11 would have gotten us 95 points. So, interesting. We're a little bit poised for a good run here, but the problem is what nobody really wants to talk about, because I think for a little bit of sanity as Oilers fans, we take it for granted, is exactly what Mr. Connor McDavid does down the stretch. And now we have not seen this Connor McDavid down the stretch in a playoff drive since 16-17. So for some of us, it's been a while. Now let me get you the game logs, because this is where I really want to go back. I want to go back to Connor McDavid's 16-17 year, right? Connor McDavid playing a big year in Edmonton, really getting it going. Well, let me tell you what he did down that stretch drive as he got it going. So playoffs, that's a whole different story, but there's a lot of ones, twos. So think about this. Connor McDavid on March 7th at the end of the year was held pointless against the New York Islanders in game 66 of the 16-17 season. He then went on to get a point in Pittsburgh, got, well, blanked again in game 68, but then let me rattle this off. From game 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, he had points. So right there, 69 on, he had a 13-point game point streak to end the season. And I mean, there were a lot of multi-point nights, a lot of 3-point nights in there. Well, okay, go back to that last blank against the New York Islanders. So 2 games pointless. Well, let me tell you, he pretty much went the last 22 games of the season. He went 20 of 22 games with a point. I mean, that's okay. That's the start of the trend, I'm sure. All right, let's go to last season. We'll skip 17-18 because, I mean, as an Oilers fan, none of us really want to talk about that year. And 18-19 is enough within reference to talk about it. And so let's talk about 18-19. Let's go back to game 61. Points there, 62 points, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69 pointless, 70, 71, 72, 73 pointless, and 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, and 76 pointless. So not quite, but you talk about Connor McDavid a little bit different. There are a lot more big point nights than 16-17. You know what? He was topping out around 3 points in 16-17. He had a couple of big, pretty much every game he was playing, it was a 2-point night in which he scored down the stretch. So now you add on Connor McDavid has this prior history, ladies and gentlemen, of going out there and getting these big point games, going out there and scoring a ton of points in the last 22 or so games of the NHL season. Well, now, right, for complication, you've got a fact that the Oilers are 20 points out of what should be, technically speaking, a guaranteed playoff spot, all right? All right. Now that establishes the timeline where we're going here. And now you've got an Andres Athanasiou, and you've got a Tyler Ennis or Zach Kassian. However you want to set up that top line, it's up to Dave Tippett. And I mean, we've sat here and screamed about line combinations all season long, and I don't think any of us have actually seen the line combinations we want to see. So, you know what? End of the day, you know Zach Kassian's going to produce on Connor McDavid's wing. You know Tyler Ennis can do it after last night. You know Athanasiou can do it as well, double A. So, you sit here, you tell me what the heck's going to happen. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if anything out of the last two games is a clear indication of what's coming for Connor McDavid this stretch drive, let me tell you, it's going to be good. Because you look at these game logs, go to 1920. All right, let's go to before he was injured. The game he was injured against Nashville, he had a point. So he's on a 4-game point streak as it sits. And you know what, realistically, you take away the double points against Calgary on the first, he's had at least a bare minimum 1 point in every game played since the Calgary game. And actually, you could probably stretch that all the way back to a crazy number, start of the season, technically speaking, because he is more points per game than points played. So let me right now pull you up the Connor McDavid overview of this season and just kind of bring into magnitude how crazy things are going to be for him down the stretch here. As well, you know what, 57 games played on the season. He has had a total of 87 points. Came into last night with only 84. Came into the night previous with only 81. And here he is, primed tonight to hopefully lead his team to a very important win against the Vegas Golden Knights. And let me get this for you, February 26th stats. That's what I want, because you know what, I got to start dating these so as we can start talking at the end of the year kind of what Connor McDavid's stats were looking like prior to the end of the year. So Connor McDavid, February 26th stats. If a guy is smart, he will spot it right there. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go back to that too many times tonight, I already feel. My friends, let's get this going, shall I? Definitely. Right now, if you've felt like hitting that subscribe button, now's your time to do it. Let me get these stats for you. Connor McDavid, you look at how these points have gone up, right? They doubled year over year due to injury from 15-16 to 16-17. And I talked to you, right? The heater down the stretch, that was an incredible finish for him. He won the Hart Trophy. He ended up winning the Art Ross, this, that, and the other thing. And then, of course, 17-18, he won the Art Ross as well. Finished all over the board for points or trophies and 108 points. Okay. All right, good enough. 18-19, 116 points. Finished third in the Hart race. Didn't win the Art Ross. And you look at it this way, right? Is 2019, 2020, he's got 87 points. Probably not going to win the Art Ross due to a guy like Leon Draisaitl going beast mode while he was out. But talk about this, over an 82-game pace. I know he won't play all 82 games this year, but in those 57 games, you multiply that by that. That's a 125-point pace. Now you add on the what is that? Exponential factor, right? The exponential, how it doesn't go up like this, it goes up like this. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. I got to stop that. That's a safety word for me, I guess you could say, in terms of going back home kind of deal. But 87 points in 57 games. Yeah, and we're talking 125 points over an 82-game pace. But let me tell you, simply put, you're not counting the March, whoop, like that, how it curves up that quick. And you talk about playing with Andres Athanasiou, Tyler Ennis, maybe down the stretch drive, what that line could do. You saw last night they combined for 7 points. Well, let me tell you, if that line's combining for 7 points night in, night out, Connor McDavid's going to easily have his 125 points without having to play all 82 games, and that is absolutely stupid. So, Where does that leave us? That leaves us excited for a stretch run that should be like, well, 16, 17 to an extent, but unlike anything we've experienced in the last 15 years because of how this season's gone, right? We wrote this team off 99 times this season, and the Edmonton Oilers are still here to live and tell the tale of hopeful playoff contention. Guys, I'm Tyson. This is Stolany TV. I will catch you, as always, in the next one.